see a lot of fruit coming from the kids that are going up to camp. You do see them coming back thinking more. It's good to see that fruit and see them trying to be where they're not just a Christian when they go to youth group or when they're at home with mom and dad, but it's taking a stand when they're at school. And a lot of that does just start at places like camp, because you have speakers or you have people or just lessons up there that are really truly challenging them to, while they're up on the mountain, take what they've learned back to where they live. I mean, one of the biggest challenging moments I had up there was Scott Morningstar, and my heart was right in line with everything he was saying. And I just nonchalantly went to him after he spoke, and I said, "Oh, Scott, that was great. That was meaningful to me." And he bluntly looked at me and said, "Now what are you going to do about it?" And it was like a brick hit me in the face. It changed my life. And it all started right there with that blunt question. I honestly feel like that was the summer of summers where God was calling me to himself, and he did it through Conconully Camp. Separating ourselves from that concrete, steel, glass jungle and all the distractions, and coming to a place to meet God and to just spend time with God, or for the first time come to Christ, you know, and it's still attractive to people. You really are in a place where you can appreciate that general revelation of just being in God's creation. I think that is a big thing that draws people to God. You're faced with it everywhere you go, whether it's to Salmon Meadows or to any other place on the midnight hike looking at the stars in the sky. You don't see those stars if you live in Seattle. And so you really get a glimpse of what God has done. You see that happening at camp. We're out there and we're combining the general and the special revelation of God through God's word, but also through his being in his creation. I think that's a huge benefit for the camp. Unlike other camps, it's not too big for its britches. As a facility, I think it's a very, very neat place, and it's an intimate atmosphere. So, yeah. And the cost of camp is very cheap. What is it, $56 for a student to be up there for a week? A full week, 7 days anywhere else, you're looking at $500 to anywhere to $1,000 for a week of camp. Some of those camps, they're so strict and rigid, and there's so much going on that a kid comes back worn out versus changed by Christ in their life. I truly believe that life change happens at Conconully Bible Camp, and for that cost, that's a cheap cost. For that to happen, for kids to meet with Christ. Okay, that makes sense. Let's do this, you know?